Well, first of all, I would like to say that wherever we see suffering, wherever we see death and destruction, especially of young people, assault, sexual assault, we see Dershowitz to the rescue. The former defense attorney of Jeffrey Epstein, a man himself accused of rape.
I knew we would get to that. I
didn't give you permission to interrupt me. I didn't give you permission to interrupt me. I stayed quiet when you were talking.
Okay, here's what I would say.
I stayed quiet when you were talking.
Hang on. Here's what I would say.
To the merits.
I didn't give you permission.
Listen, Mohammed, attacking a lawyer for defending people is a stupid argument.
Well,
right?
I'm not making an argument yet.
Well, you're just using an ad.
I'm not making an argument.
Attack straight off the top.
Has he got leverage on you?
No, he's a brilliant lawyer.
I saw your picture with Maxwell. He's got leverage on you.
He's a brilliant lawyer.
Are you saying that because he's got leverage on you?
I met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes at a book launch.
You look very happy with her. Do you condemn Dershowitz?
For what?
For defending Epstein.
I have defended.
And being proud of defending Epstein.
It's not for me to defend
him.
All I can tell you is
in the world.
Alan, you defend yourself.
No, why should he defend himself? I haven't even spoken for 20 seconds.
Alan can defend himself.
Well, let me speak for more than 20 seconds. I haven't even made my point yet.
I helped to defend Bill Clinton. I've helped to defend some of the finest people in the world, and I've also helped to defend some of the worst.
Defended. Is that a terrible crime?
He was not proud of defending John Lennon in the same way as he announced that he was proud of defending Epstein.
What's this got to do with Israel?
This has got to do with the fact that this man, the credibility of this man is on the line. He defends Israel on the one hand, and on the other hand, he defends Epstein. I think the public should know this.
Do you want me to play the clips?
He's proud of it.
Mohammed, do you want me to play the clips of you
that do
the rounds on social media saying some very inflammatory things? Do you want me to?
Why are you not looking at me?
Because I'm looking at the three of us.
I'm right here.
You can turn to me, then the viewers see me and you looking at
me man to man.
Fine.
Look at me man to man. Look at my eyes.
It's called an aesthetic thing for videos.
Okay, now the first thing I wanted to say was that this man's credibility is something which is shocking that we're even entertaining.
What do you base it on?
On the fact that he actually defended Epstein, and after the fact he said he was proud of it. He was in Epstein's vicinity. He had a massage in his vicinity. This is the kind of person that we're having on the show defending Israel. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is, in the first interaction where me and you were talking about October the 7th, we spent about 3 or 4 minutes actually talking about sexual assault allegations, if you remember that. And actually here, what we have is Israeli soldiers like Mir from Unit 100, and that's on The Guardian, it's on Sky News, it's on all these kinds of platforms, coming out, and there's videographic evidence of him raping another man. I haven't heard condemnation from you, and I don't expect to hear it from him who defended Epstein. But this shows you the bias in the coverage for a year, where we know the ICJ have said that there's a plausible genocide.
You haven't been watching my show.
I think I have.
No, you haven't.
Have you spoken about me?
You're talking complete bullshit.
Okay, tell me why.
Right?
Tell me why.
Because I did condemn what you've just talked about in a previous debate.
Good.
Right?
Dershowitz, do you condemn it?
Yes, of course. I condemn any rape of anybody and any assault on anybody who's in captivity.
And you also condemn the right of rape protest that took place in Israel. And you acknowledge that there's a problem in Israel with this.
They will be investigated. They will be fully investigated. They will be court-martialed.
Do you acknowledge that there's a problem in Israeli society?
If anybody is convicted of that, they deserve their punishment.
Do you acknowledge that there's a problem?
What about the problem with Hamas raping women?
I have no compunction.
On October the 7th.
I have no compunction condemning Hamas for anything that they've done. You've said that. You've asked me before, and I've told you before. I have no moral scruple. Neither do the majority of the Muslim world. I tell you now, anything that Hamas has done, we have condemned in the first instance. But we're not seeing the same level of coverage with Hamas as we are seeing with these people that are shoving rods up people's ass and raping people on videographic evidence. And you have 3,000 people. You talk about the hostages. You've got 3,000 people in essentially captivity, according to Human Rights Watch and B'Tselem, who are prisoners of war of Israel. And we're spending a fraction of the time speaking about them as compared to speaking about the hostages. This shows you the inherent bias.
There's no comparison. There's no comparison between innocent hostages who did nothing wrong and people who are being charged with criminal offenses.
They're not charged with criminal offenses. That's why you're meant to know better. You're meant to know better than that.
But they are charged with security offenses. But you can't compare.
They are arrested without charge.
You can't
They are
compare a
arrested without
3-year-old
charge. They're not
baby.
charged with criminal
Don't
offenses.
shout over each other. We can't hear the answer.
But he's lying to the public.
Allow him to respond.
Go ahead.
To somebody who's a member of Hamas.
Say that
Sorry,
again.
Adam, we couldn't hear you because he was shouting.
I was shouting. Say it
Alan,
again.
he says the 3,000.
I'm saying you can't compare
Alan, he
a
says the
3-year-old
3,000
baby.
Alan, just to be clear, he said the 3,000 people he's talking about were all arrested without charge, and therefore they've not been charged with crimes. Your response to that?
Well, if they were, they should be released. Nobody should be arrested
Good
without
boy.
charge. If you're
Good
held for a
boy.
security
Don't be so
reason.
pathetic.
I will
during
say
the
what I
war-
want. It's uncensored.
Great.
Good boy.
Let me finish, please.
Pathetic.
Let me
It's
make
childish.
my
Boy.
point.
Try and have a
Can I
proper
make my
debate.
point,
I'll
please?
say what I like.
Can I make my point? Let me make my point. Great Britain confined tens of thousands of people without charges during the Second World War.
Two wrongs
The
don't
United
make a
States
right.
did-
At the moment, Alan Dershowitz is being very civilized in the way he's debating.
I'm sure you're going to say that.
You're just making
He might have
ad
leverage
hominem
on you.
attacks and shouting all
He's
the
your
time.
friend.
No one can understand it when you
Have you
shout
met him
all the time.
before?
I know Alan well.
Oh, you know him well.
I respect him very much.
Oh, yes, you do.
He's one of America's top lawyers.
He's top lawyers.
Yeah, he is.
Aha. You're an unbiased person here on Uncensored.
An unbiased person about Alan Dershowitz. Why?
Does he have leverage on you, Piers Morgan?
There's no leverage on me, no.
You've got a picture with Maxwell.
Yes, with Ghislaine
Did you go
Maxwell.
to the island?
No, I've never been to the island. I've never met Jeffrey Epstein.
Be honest.
I never spent more than 5 minutes with
Be
Ghislaine
honest.
Maxwell. I've answered you. So what part of that was your...
Do you condemn him being on the island? He's your good friend.
You can ask
No, I'm
Alan
asking, do you
Dershowitz
condemn him?
about Jeffrey Epstein.
You had a massage.
He represented him.
He said he didn't take his shorts off.
Do you know what?
That's what
None of
that's
this
what
has
he
got
said.
anything to do with Israel.
He said he didn't take his shorts off when he was getting a
Can you
massage.
please, Mohammed.
Why is this uncomfortable?
It's nothing to do with the debate.
He didn't take his shorts off, but he's got his pants down now, hasn't he?
Can you stop it?
Why?
What's the point?
Why? He
Because it's
defended one of the most obnoxious people in the last 100 years. Why should I stop it?
Actually, what is going on right
should I
now
stop it?
in the Middle East is incredibly important.
Yes, and you have this man who's...
You are trivializing that. Well, if you didn't want to do a debate, don't agree to do it.
Who said I'm not going to do a debate? I'm saying this person who's
Come on and
defending
make
Israel...
stupid ad hominem attacks is pathetic.
Okay. All right. He's your good friend. You want to defend him so much.
What are you talking about?
You're defending him.
Huh?
You're defending him. You're defending a monster. A pervert. An old pervert.
He's not a pervert or a monster.
Why is he not? He knew Epstein. And for us, there's good influence.
Why are you doing this, Mohammed?
Why not? Let's talk about Iran.
Let's talk about Iran.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Do you support Iran?
Okay, well, let me answer your question. Iran was attacked on April the 1st, right? It was attacked, the embassy of Iran was attacked in Syria by Israel. After that, on the first occasion, they then sent missiles and drones, correct? Now, my question to you is, does Iran have a right to defend itself? And if so, what is a proportionate response? Because you see, I've been having a moral quandary about the issue, Piers Morgan. What's a proportionate response for Iran?
I tell you what I think about Iran. I think Iran is an unbelievably nefarious place which has been fueling Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah for many years with a joint ideology that they want to eradicate Israel in any way they can.
Okay. Does it have
so
a right to
I
defend
think
itself?
Iran is one of the most despicable
Does it have a right to
regimes
defend itself?
in the world. I also think that right now the Iranian regime is in serious danger.
You look completely discombobulated.
What do you mean?
You look disheveled.
I'm telling you what I think of Iran.
I'm asking you, do they have a right to defend themselves? Do you think they have a right to defend themselves? Both of you can answer the question. Do they have a right to defend? They were attacked. The sovereign nation was attacked. My question is, does it have a right to defend?
Iran has been fueling
Isn't that the
attacks
question
on
you've been
Israel
asking?
now for what, 40 years?
I've been having a moral quandary about it. I've been having a moral quandary about Iran.
Have you?
Yeah, moral quandary, yes. Moral quandary, I don't know. Do they have a right to defend themselves? And if so, what is the proportionate response?
You're supporting Iran, to be clear.
I'm asking you, no,
Are you supporting Iran?
I'm not supporting, I'm antithetical to many of these organizations for my own purposes. But my question to you...
Do you support the Iranian regime?
Not unconditionally, but I support their right...
What conditions do you agree with them about?
Their right to defend themselves. Do you believe they have a right to defend themselves?
No, I think they're terrorists.
Oh, so they don't have a right to defend themselves? Iran does not have a right to defend itself?
They do, but they're not the ones...
So what is proportionate response?
They're not the ones...
What's the proportionate response? No,
Can I answer you?
You asked this question to the
You're
people.
just going to keep talking. Can I answer you?
What's the proportionate response?
The proportionate response to Iran is to stop them trying to destroy Israel through their proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas. What they've been trying to do for many years.
What is a proportionate response of Iran after their embassy was smashed and destroyed in Syria and 16 people were killed? What's the proportionate response?
Well, what about the proportionate response to everything Iran's done?
Which is against the Vienna Conventions. You don't have one peer-reviewed work on international law. And Jimmy Carter, the former US president, said, you have no knowledge of Palestine. Don't speak to me about Palestine and its issues. Jimmy Carter, a former president of the United States, as you acknowledge, you've written it in your book, he says that you have no knowledge of the Palestine issue. Jimmy Carter said that. Don't speak to me like that.
Well, you want to hear something?
Yeah,
it
the only
was
thing
in
you
my
have
book.
knowledge
In
about is
fact,
where
it
the
was in
doors
the
and
back.
the rooms and the
It
masseuses
was in
are.
the back. It was the back cover of my book.
That's all you have knowledge of.
I've written 13 books.
Did you touch Virginia?
Did you touch her? On Israel,
did you touch Virginia?
Some of which
did you touch her? Did you touch that woman?
Never heard of her. Never met her. Never met her.
Don't lie. lie.
Never.
Don't lie to me. Did you touch that woman or not?
I'm telling you, I never met her, and she acknowledged
Did you touch that woman?
under oath
Did you
that she
sexually
may
assault her?
have
You have no knowledge of his case, do you?
else.
You wouldn't be
I'm asking
saying
you a
that.
question.
You're
Okay,
repeating
so why are you
serious
defending me?
information.
Because you don't leverage
Because he
over
won
it.
a case. It was proven to be lies.
I'm asking him a
Why
question.
are you doing this?
I'm asking him a question.
This is not about Israel.
This is
You're trying to be a clever dick, but what you're doing is inviting a lawsuit from London, which you will get.
I'm ready for it.
You are?
Yeah.
Really?
I've got 4 defamation
Good.
cases, all of which
Good.
your friend Douglas Murray, I'm taking him to court.
Well, good luck with taking on Alan on this, is all I would say.
I'm ready
to
for
you.
him. Oh, you love him, don't you?
No, it's just one case.
I just wonder what he has.
Defending himself.
I just wonder what leverage he has. Does he have any leverage on you?
God, this is pathetic, man.
I don't know why you keep defending
He's
him.
now accusing
me
me
like
of
this before we come on the show. Why are you doing it now?
He's a
Morgan,
monster.
right?
This man is a monster.
Well, why debate then?
Because I don't mind debating monsters, just like you don't mind debating monsters. We have that in common.
Do you want to finish the debate about the bigger picture or not?
I'm speaking about it. You guys are the ones rattled. I'm not rattled.
No one's rattled. We just think it's pathetic.
You're both rattled.
We think it's pathetic because you don't understand what you're talking about.
Really, that's just an assertion, really, isn't it?
No, you're just trying to get your clicks on X, and that's fine.
Oh, isn't that
But
what you do?
nothing
Is there anything wrong with that?
No, you know what? Try and debate the issue.
You always brag about it, my
Try
friend.
and debate
you
the
brag
issue.
about it myself. We've got 1 million views, 2 million views. You talk about it all the time.
Alan, Mohammed, do you think Hezbollah are terrorists or freedom fighters?
I have an antithetical view to Hezbollah, and that's been well documented in the record. However,
What's your view? I don't know.
Well, I tell you one thing. I'm not going to be baited into a sectarian debate here.
Asking you if you comment about Hezbollah.
Sure, I don't necessarily. I have an antithetical view to Hezbollah. However, on this
What do you
case,
mean?
what I mean by that is that I don't necessarily support them in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Because of
How do you categorize them?
I categorize Hezbollah in their response to Israel as justified in that response.
And in the response for Assad in Syria,
Clearly,
against fellow Arab?
yeah. Well, you and I both know that I have an antithetical view. I don't think that they were on the right side of history. Then I do think they were acting in.
So they were terrorists then?
Well, I mean, depends on how. I think the word terrorism is a social construct.
What were they when they fought for Assad? against Arabs?
Oppressive, and that's on the record. There's no doubt about it. You can call whatever you want, but
So they were all the things that you would say Israel is.
when they were doing the thing with Bashar al-Assad, that is, of course, my view.
But they're only that thing when they're doing that. When they're attacking Israel, that's fine.
When they attacked Israel,
When they're attacking Arabs on behalf of Bashar al-Assad,
no, but that shows consistency.
No, hang on.
Doesn't that show consistency?
No.
Why not?
It doesn't show consistency.
It shows consistency.
The inconsistency is that you think that was bad, but when they're attacking Israel,
Okay,
that's fine.
Let's respond. On the 8th of October, you mentioned many times before in your interviews that they attacked Israel. They attacked Israel, right?
They did.
That's not true.
They did.
They attacked the Sheba Farms, which is occupied territory.
Which Israel has claimed as its own since 1967.
Wait a minute.
Which Israel,
it's occupied territory.
which Israel has claimed as its own
See, this
since
shows
1967.
this shows your lack of knowledge on the matter. It does.
What part of what I just said is not true?
You're
They
ignorant.
claimed it as their own since 67.
Wait, hold on. This is occupied territory, according to the UN, according to the US. It's occupied territory.
I just said Israel have claimed it as
So
its own.
what? They can claim. I can claim what I want. ISIS have made many claims.
So,
it
given
doesn't-
Israel...
Wait, hold on. Whatever Israel claims is true. Is that what we are meant to believe here?
Hezbollah has fired beyond the Sheba farms.
Now, let me explain.
Hezbollah
The
has fired
Sheba farms
into
were the-
Israeli cities.
Hold on.
Israel has
Dershowitz,
they
I haven't
fired
finished
into
yet.
Haifa.
Dershowitz, I haven't finished yet. On the 8th of, you talked about the 8th of October. When they fired on the 8th of October, they fired, and you can go ahead and bring evidence that they fired anywhere else other than the Sheba farms. They fired on the Sheba farms. After that, there was response from Israel. And then after that, because there was response of Israel into Lebanon, then Hezbollah attacked the northern part of Israel. This is what happened. And that is justified according to international law. So on this issue, you will not find differences between Sunnis and Shias. You will not find differences in us. We are all united in the hatred of the Zionist entity.
Mohammed, you've said so far, unless I'm wrong, you don't support Hamas, you don't support Hezbollah. So there's probably more bits of agreement here with Alan Dershowitz than me than you might like to admit if you don't support those two groups.
Okay, so I don't see what that's got to do with anything. We were talking about October.
I said at the start I wanted to find points of agreement.
Sure.
Can we all agree that Hamas and Hezbollah are a bad thing?
I can agree that the white man, the Western man, has tried to use social constructs like terrorism to try and absolve themselves from all the things that they.
What would you call them, Hamas and Hezbollah?
Well, I mean, just like any human being, they can sometimes be oppressive and they can sometimes be on the right side of history.
Most human beings do not do what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Well, in the Zionist entity, they do. And they do worse than that. They don't.
Israel's never committed an atrocity on that scale.
On what scale?
On that scale.
Explain. On what scale?
Killing 1,200 people.
They've killed 40,000.
Sorry, in one day, massacring
difficult
any
40,000
Israelis who could get their hands on, kidnapping children,
on the 23rd of September, what happened?
Holocaust
On the
survivors,
20th, we were talking about October
raping and abusing women, beheading people. Oh, you don't think that happened, do you?
Well, hold on. You just said raping and abusing. We just started the show with an admission that there's a problem in Israeli society. That there was.
I'm talking about Hamas.
Yeah, but you just said Israel doesn't.
We both condemned what you talked about earlier in relation.
So why are you saying Israel don't do that? What's wrong with you?
I didn't say that.
You just said that now.
No, I didn't.
You said Israel doesn't do, and then you just listed 3 or 4 things, and that was one of the things that you just listed.
No, I said Israel had never...
Am I speaking a foreign tongue?
Sorry, listen to what I'm saying. I said Israel never perpetrated an atrocity on that scale.
Okay.
On the 23rd one day against the people
how many
of Palestine. They never have.
Well, hold on. How many civilians died on October the 7th?
Civilians about 800.
Oh, sure. All right.
But hang on.
Hold on.
But nearly 7,000 more were wounded.
Sure.
7,000
What happened on the 23rd of September?
Were wounded.
What happened on the 23rd of September?
7,000.
Okay, sure.
Think about that number.
Okay, no problem.
That's the scale of people who were attacked on that day.
Are we talking over each other? It's 2 on 1 now.
8,000 people were attacked.
No problem. On the 23rd
One of the most horrendous terror attacks.
Is this going to be a monologue or is it a dialogue?
History. I'm telling you some facts.
I know the facts.
I may not like it, but I'm telling you them.
Okay, I'm telling you, on the 23rd of September, Israel attacked Lebanon. How many people died? How many civilians died, according to the Lebanese, the Ministry of Health?
I believe it's about 2,000 was the last recorded number I saw.
No, in one day, on the 23rd of September.
Including combatants, including many combatants.
No, on the 23rd, how many died? How many died? Why don't we have a year commemorating the 23rd of... A year commemorating the 23rd of September, since we're having a year commemorating the 7th of October, and about 600 people died, 650 people, civilians died on that day. That's quite close, isn't it?
We don't know they're civilians. They don't distinguish between
8,000 people were attacked.
We're not talking about attack, we're talking about dead. What's wrong with you? Why are you not looking at me again? You're crying. Are you crying?
Because the viewers are seeing the 3 of us together.
I see that there's tears in your eyes.
There are no tears in my eyes.
What's going on?
There's a slight sense of exasperation.
Sure, there should be, because you are employing...
What do you think I am?
I think you said it yourself with your interview with Mehdi Hassan. I think you're just biased. You talked about tribes.
Who am I biased against?
You're biased against anything anti-Western, clearly. You said...
What a ridiculous statement.
Because you said it yourself. You said the reason why you have such and such a view with Russia and
Do you think
Ukraine...
I was biased when I led the media campaign against the Iraq war?
No, I think you were...
Was I biased against brown people
You were good then.
Was I? I was good then, because you agreed with me.
Sure, because you're on the side of truth. Just like I could say Hezbollah was not on the side of truth in 2013, but they're on the side of truth today. I can say this, and even though they're Muslims just like me, just like I can say that Hamas is wrong for doing such and such a thing, but they're right on such and such a thing. I can say all these things. You should be able to do the same thing.
What have Hamas been right about?
Resisting, because they're occupied territory. Does Palestine have a right to defend itself? Does Hamas have a right to defend itself exclusively against military targets?
Everybody has the right to defend themselves.
So Hamas can do that against military targets?
What they did not to themselves is not self-defense. It was a terror attack.
Hold on.
I'm not saying Al-Qaeda. I'm not saying Al-Qaeda had the right to do that.
That's not
September.
We both agreed that the civilian death is something we should both condemn. Yeah? We're talking about areas of agreement. You just said it yourself. I'm saying now, do you agree that Hamas has the right, because they're an occupied territory, Gaza is an occupied territory, according to the UK, by the way, they're an occupied territory because there's effective military control. According to the UK...
They ended their occupation in 2005.
No, hold on. You're meant to be intelligent. You're meant to know this fact. According to the UK government, according to the US government, and you can check it up online, and according to the UN, all 3 organizations, Gaza is an occupied territory.
Alan, let me ask you this. One of the many problems I have with what Israel's been doing in terms of the scale of what it's been doing, but also what has been going on the West Bank with the increased settlements, very aggressive expansion of settlements, I think is completely outrageous.
I agree.
But once you said before...
Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, we can.
Well, Alan's agreed on that.
I am opposed to Israel's policies on the West Bank. I think Israel should continue a military occupation of the West Bank, just like I thought it should have continued a military occupation of Gaza. But I'm opposed and have been opposed to civilian settlements since 1967. And I'd like to see them ended in a process that leads to a 2-state solution. By the way, I'm curious whether my fellow guest here supports the right of Israel to exist as the nation state of the Jewish people alongside a Palestinian state. Do you agree that Israel has the right to exist as the nation state of the Jewish people? Yes or no?
I think it's a viable option. In 2002, not just Hamas agreed to this, by the way, in what's called the Arab Initiative. The Arab Convention.
They didn't.
Hold on, You've just asked me a question. You've asked me a question. You can check me. You can fact check me. In 2002, there was something called the Arab Convention. And in fact, Iran itself was part of it, even though it's not an Arab country, but it was part of the 2002 Arab Convention. And they both said, so long as Israel does not occupy Gaza, it does not occupy the Golan Heights, and it does not occupy the West Bank, which you just advocated for, then there can be a two-state solution. Even Hamas, Hezbollah mentioned the same thing.
I am a strong supporter of a two-state solution in which Israel can live in peace. That's all Israel has ever wanted since 1948, when it was attacked in a genocidal war. 1967, 1973. All Israel wants to do is live in peace. And if Israel can live in peace with a Palestinian neighbor that's peaceful, that would be my dream.
What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that as an ambition?
Well, he said all Israel wants to do is live in peace. And I think what Israel wants to do is have pieces of other people's land. And as he's just agreed a second ago, and you didn't even challenge him on it, which I find quite incredulous actually, is that he said, I think that the West Bank should be military occupying Israel should be military occupying the West Bank. He says that.
Absolutely.
Now, occupation.
Of course, as long as there's belligerency, there should be an occupation.
Why are you interrupting me? I've let you speak for a very long time. I've let you speak for a very long time. Now you're interrupting me. I didn't give you permission to interrupt me. I didn't give you permission to interrupt me in this manner. What I'm saying to you is, according to international law, there cannot be occupation of one sovereign nation over another. It doesn't seem like you care about international law. What do you mean?
Wrong. No, you're just wrong.
Okay, just be quiet for a second.
United States occupied Japan. The United States occupied Germany. Great Britain occupied Germany. You can have a military occupation as long as there is belligerency that continues.
Your former friend Epstein, and be quiet for a second. Pretend I'm Epstein, your former friend, and be quiet and listen to what I have to say. Yeah, whether the United States of America did it or not is not an indication of the legality of something. Occupation is by
military occupation is legal while belligerency continues. Okay. That's the law.
Are you going to be quiet? I've let you speak for about 3 or 4 minutes uninterrupted. He asked you 2 questions, and I've stayed quiet. Are you okay? I'm saying that military occupation of one sovereign nation over another is not something that international law accepts because it contravenes the
False. You're false.
So give me the evidence to the contrary. I'm waiting for you.
It's clear that every country that has had a war has occupied the losing country until belligerency is over. Once belligerency is over, as it was in Germany and Japan, 2 or 3 years after the war, the occupation ended.
So why is it that if you're saying
military occupation is permissible as long as there's belligerency? Civilian occupation is not.
If what you're saying is true, why have the organs of the United Nations condemned the occupation of Israel? Why? The ICC, the ICJ.
They have condemned the civilian aspects of the occupation. They have condemned the building of settlements, which I also condemn. I'm talking about a military occupation.
You're lying just like you had to when you defended the...
Stop it, Mohammed, for goodness sake.
Why?
It's pathetic.
Why? Why is it pathetic?
Attacking lawyers for defending people is so pathetic.
Being proud of it, yeah.
Of all the attacks we could use, it is the least effective.
What do you think of Epstein?
And the most embarrassing.
You're defending him too much today.
I think Epstein was a disgusting human being.
So he's proud of defending him. Do you condemn him for that?
Well, I just don't care. I'm talking about Israel.
Oh, you don't care now, but why is it disgusting?
I'm talking about Israel and the Middle East.
Okay, so let's go back to the point. He was just advocating occupying the West Bank, Israel occupying the West Bank. We got to the point where he was saying that's acceptable. I'm saying that if that's acceptable from an international law perspective, then you would expect the ICC and the ICJ and these organs of the United Nations to agree with him on that assessment. They have not agreed with him on that assessment. Even the United Kingdom doesn't agree with him on that assessment. The national position on the occupation of Gaza and the West Bank is that it's illegal. It's effective military control. So you don't know what you are talking about. And you were talking about the pager attack, and you said about it that was an act of military brilliance. I'm sure if it happened here in Sainsbury's and a little white boy was killed, you wouldn't say that, would you?